The wind was sharp and dry across the empty plains of the abandoned colony world. Dust swirled in lazy circles as Leo walked slowly over cracked stone, his scanner beeping softly in his hand. He wasn't a soldier or explorer. He was just a repair tech, someone who liked to fix old machines left behind by others. He had come to this part of the planet alone, hoping to find rare parts from the ruins of a forgotten satellite base. But something unexpected caught his attention, an odd energy signal, weak but steady, coming from a nearby ridge. Leo climbed over broken rocks and finally saw it. A small alien escape pod was half buried in the ground. Its surface was scorched, and steam hissed softly from its side vents. The door was partly open, bent and twisted. A red light blinked near the top, an emergency beacon, but barely working. Leo hesitated. Most people would have turned back, reported it to authorities, and left it alone. But Leo wasn't like most people. Curiosity pushed him forward. He approached carefully and looked inside. What he saw made him stop breathing for a moment. Lying against the inner wall of the pod was a girl, not human. Her skin was a soft shade of pale blue, almost violet. She had short silver hair, and her ears were small but pointed, not like human ears. She wore a tight suit that looked half medical, half armor. A strange device was attached to her back and legs, and she was clearly injured. Her right leg was twisted, oddly, and the machine on her spine blinked weakly. Her eyes opened, large, dark, and scared. She tried to push herself away, but she was too weak. She spoke a few words in a language Leo didn't understand, but her meaning was clear. She was afraid. "It's okay," Leo said gently, holding up both hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm not going to hurt you." She looked at him confused. Her breathing was fast, and she winced in pain as she tried to sit up. Leo quickly knelt beside her, pulling out a small med-scan tool from his pack. It wasn't meant for aliens, but it gave him some idea. Low oxygen, leg injury, and a damaged support system on her back. Her body was trying to stay alive, but just barely. "Who left you here?" Leo asked softly, even though he knew she couldn't answer. He looked around. No tracks, no signs of others. This pod had landed or crashed days ago, maybe more. She was alone. Abandoned. Leo's chest tightened. He had grown up alone after war took his parents. He knew what being forgotten felt like. He couldn't leave. Her. Not like this. "I'll help you," he said firmly. She looked at him again. This time, her eyes didn't show fear, only surprise. Leo gently lifted her out of the pod. She was light, almost too light, and her frame was thin. The device on her back sparked once, then went silent. He adjusted her carefully and began carrying her back to his rover. It was a long walk. He kept speaking to her, even though she didn't understand. "You'll be okay. I have supplies, we'll fix you up." As they reached his small mobile station, she suddenly gripped his shoulder with one weak hand. Her eyes locked onto his face. "Not enemy?" she asked in broken words. Leo blinked. "No," he replied with a soft smile. "I'm a friend." She blinked slowly. Then she passed out. Inside the station, Leo placed her on the small medical bed. He attached oxygen lines, cleaned her wounds, and checked the support device on her spine. It looked like some kind of mobility assist. Maybe she had trouble walking before the crash. Now it was broken and leaking energy. Hours passed as Leo worked, cleaning parts, scanning her vitals, patching what he could. She slept quietly, breathing slow and shallow. As the sun set outside, Leo sat near her and watched. Who was she? Why was she abandoned? What kind of people leave someone behind like this? He didn't know the answers, but one thing was certain: he wasn't going to leave her alone again. In the quiet of the desert night, with stars glowing above and machines humming softly, a new bond began to form between a human who refused to walk away and an alien girl who had already been forgotten. Once, the morning sun rose slowly over the dusty plains. Leo woke up early and went straight to the small room where he had placed the alien girl. The soft hum of machines and the faint smell of medicine filled the air. She was still asleep, her pale, blue skin faintly glowing in the light. Leo sat down beside her bed, watching her chest rise and fall. He wondered what her name was, where she came from, and why she had been left alone in the cold desert. There was a sadness in her face, even while she slept. He gently touched the strange device attached to her back. It was some kind of support system, maybe to help her move, but it was broken and leaking power. Without it, she would not be able to walk. Leo sighed. His own tools were old, and he did not have the parts she needed, but he was a good engineer. He believed he could fix it or build something new. If she could walk again, maybe she could tell him her story. A soft beep from the scanner interrupted his thoughts. The alien girl's vitals were stable, but she was weak. She needed food and water soon. Leo went to the small kitchen and prepared a simple meal. When he came back, she was awake. Her eyes opened slowly, showing dark, curious pupils. She looked at Leo, then at the food. Her lips moved, trying to say something, but no clear words came out. Leo smiled gently and handed her some water. She drank carefully, holding the cup with trembling hands. Then slowly she took a small bite of the food. After a moment she tried to speak again. "Name, sorry," she said in broken English. Her voice was soft but filled with hope. Leo nodded. "Hello, sorry, I am Leo." She smiled faintly, a small but real smile. It was the first time since he found her. Days passed in quiet routine. Leo worked on repairing the support device. He took parts from old machines and combined them with new designs. Sari rested and slowly gained strength. Though they could not speak the same language well, they found ways to communicate. Leo showed her pictures. On his tablet, pictures of Earth, stars, and machines. Sari pointed to the pictures of stars and planets, nodding slowly. She drew symbols in the dust outside the station, shapes that looked like maps or signs. Leo watched carefully but did not understand. One evening, Leo asked, "Where are you from, Sari?" She looked down and whispered, "Home, far away, broken." Leo understood. She had been part of something important, something that failed. Sari's legs still hurt. She tried to stand with the help of the new support device, but it was difficult. Leo helped her, holding her steady. "You strong," he said encouragingly. Sari looked at him, eyes wide with surprise. "Not strong. Broken." Leo shook his head. "No. You not broken. You brave." For the first time, Sari's eyes filled with tears. Leo quickly gave her a cloth to wipe them away. "I left," she said. "My people, they left me. Alone." Leo's heart ached. He could not imagine being left behind like that. But he did not ask why. He only wanted to help her feel safe. As days turned into weeks, Sari and Leo became friends. She learned simple words, and Leo learned her quiet ways. One day, while Leo worked on the new device, Sari looked at the window, her eyes distant. "My world. Dangerous," she said softly. "They not care for me." Leo frowned. "Who?" "People. From sky. My people," she said, voice low. "They left you here?" Sari nodded, tears welling up again. Leo made a silent promise. He would protect her, no matter what. Late at night, when the station was quiet, Leo watched the stars. He wondered if Sari's people were watching too. Maybe they were coming back. He hoped he would be ready. Days passed quietly on the dusty planet, but Leo could feel a growing tension in the air. Strange signals appeared on his scanners. Small, fast-moving ships far in the sky. They came closer each day, sending out strong search waves that made his equipment beep and flash. One evening, while Leo was fixing Sari's support device, a sudden alert from his scanner startled them both. Leo checked the screen carefully. The signals were from Sari's home system, the same place she had told him about. the place that had left her behind. "They come," Leo said softly, looking at Sari. She nodded slowly, fear in her eyes. "Not to help." Leo frowned. "What do you mean?" Sari took a deep breath and tried to explain. She pointed to her heart and then to the sky. "My people want erase." Leo's eyes widened. "Erase? Why?" Sari shook her head. "They say, I failed, I weak, danger to them." Leo's hands clenched. He looked at her, then at the approaching signals. It was clear. The people who left her did not want her back. They wanted to find her and end her. He stood up, determination growing in his chest. "I will not let them hurt you." Sari looked at him with surprise. "But why? You risk yourself." Leo smiled softly. "Because you matter. Because no one deserves to be alone." He moved quickly, working through the night. Using old satellite parts and some of his own inventions, he built a device to block the incoming signals. It was small but strong, designed to hide Sari's presence from anyone searching. Sari watched him with awe. She had never met someone who fought so hard for her. "You are different," she said quietly. Leo shrugged. "Maybe, but I know what it means to be left behind. I won't do that. To you." The next day, Leo helped Sari practice standing with her new support device. The machine hummed quietly as it powered her weak legs. Slowly, she took small steps, leaning on Leo for balance. "Good," Leo said, smiling wide. "Stronger every day." Sari smiled back, feeling hope grow inside her. But danger was not far. One afternoon, as the sun burned bright in the sky, Leo's scanner beeped urgently. He checked the screen. Multiple ships were approaching fast. "They come now," Sari whispered, gripping Leo's arm tightly. Leo nodded. "We prepare." They had no weapons, no soldiers, only old machines and Leo's quick mind. But they had will. Leo opened the station's control panel and powered up old security systems. Lights, alarms, and traps he had built for emergencies. Sari used what strength she had to help. Together they made a small fortress. When the first ship landed nearby, drones and soldiers began to search the area. They looked cold and unfeeling, moving with one purpose: to find Sari and take her away. Leo and Sari stayed hidden, watching the dangerous group move closer. The drones scanned the ground, searching for any sign of life. Sari's heart raced, but she stayed quiet. Suddenly, a drone moved toward the station. Leo acted fast. He threw a heavy tool at it, breaking its sensor. The drone spun and crashed. The soldiers shouted and moved to surround the station. Leo grabbed a few wires and used his engineering skills to trigger traps, falling nets, loud alarms, and blinding lights. The attackers stumbled, confused and frustrated. Sari stood beside him, using her knowledge of technology to help block the drone's signals. The fight was not with weapons, but with brains and courage. After a tense battle, the soldiers realized the fight was harder than expected. They called for retreat, leaving the area with threats. Leo watched them leave and sighed in relief. Sari looked at Leo with deep gratitude. "You saved me." Leo smiled. "We saved each other." As the dust settled, Leo helped Sari sit down. Her legs were tired but stronger than before. She reached out and took his hand. "I want to stay." Leo nodded, understanding her words. She didn't want to go back to a place that had abandoned her. She wanted a new home, a new family. Leo promised himself that he would protect her no matter what. Together they looked toward the stars, knowing the future was uncertain but hopeful. They had each other now, and that was enough to face whatever came next. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the dry land around Leo's station. The quiet was heavy, but Leo knew the danger was far from gone. The alien hunters who had come before might return, stronger this time. Sari sat by the window, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon. She had grown stronger in the past weeks. With Leo's help, She could stand and walk short distances with the support device he had rebuilt for her. Yet the fear of being found still lingered in her heart. Leo worked silently nearby, fixing broken parts and strengthening the station's defenses. He knew the next attack would be worse. The hunters would not give up so easily. Suddenly, the alarms rang out sharp and urgent. Leo grabbed a control panel and saw blinking lights. Several ships were descending rapidly. The enemy had come again. "Must prepare," Leo said calmly to Sari. She nodded and stood up slowly, leaning on her support device. "I will help," she said firmly. Leo smiled, proud of her courage. Together, outside, the ground trembled as the ships landed. The hunters moved quickly, armed with advanced weapons and scanners. Their faces showed no mercy. They were here to capture Sari or destroy her. Leo and Sari moved to the control room where old security systems had been reactivated. Lights flashed and barriers closed off the station's entrances. But the hunters were smart and powerful. One of their drones broke through the shield and flew inside, searching room by room. Leo acted fast. He grabbed an old net launcher from his storage, a device he had built years ago for capturing escaped animals during his early jobs. He aimed at the drone and fired. The net wrapped tightly around the machine, stopping it instantly. Sari watched closely, then used her knowledge to hack the drone's controls. She sent a command to shut it down. The drone fell silent. "That's good," Leo said with a relieved breath. The hunters were not far behind. They entered the station with caution, scanning for any sign of the alien girl. Sari gripped her support device tightly. Her legs still ached, but she refused to stay hidden. Suddenly, Leo whispered, "We have to fight back." He pressed a button, and the station's old defense system sprang to life. Blinding lights flashed, loud alarms echoed, and hidden traps activated. One trap released a cloud of thick smoke that filled the hallway, confusing the attackers. The hunters struggled to see and move. Using the chaos, Sari took a deep breath and stepped forward. She used the energy from her support device to release a burst of light from her hands, an ability she had learned but never used before. The bright flash stunned the nearest hunter. Leo took the chance to grab a heavy tool and swung it at another attacker, knocking him back. The hunters were surprised by the sudden resistance. They expected an easy capture but instead faced a fight. Sari moved carefully but with growing confidence. "Leave us," she warned in a strong voice, "or you will lose." The hunters hesitated but soon realized they were outmatched in this small station. Their scanners were jammed, their drones disabled, and their soldiers disoriented. Slowly they retreated, disappearing back to their ships. Leo and Sari watched as the last ship lifted off and disappeared into the sky. They were safe for now. Sari looked at Leo with gratitude. "Yuki saved me again." Leo smiled gently. "We saved each other. You are not alone anymore." She touched his hand softly. "I want to stay with you." Leo nodded. "You are safe here. We will face everything together." As night fell, the stars filled the sky. Leo and Sari sat together, feeling stronger than before. They knew the fight was not over, but now they had trust and hope. For the first time, Sari felt like she belonged. The cold morning air carried a soft promise of change. Leo watched Sari move across the room with a steady step, her support device humming quietly but working better than ever. She smiled, a real smile, free and full of hope. It had been weeks since the hunters had retreated, and the quiet days that followed were filled with small victories. Sari's strength grew, and so did her trust in Leo. They had become more than just rescuer and rescued. They were friends, partners, and a family in their own way. Leo often thought about the past, the war that had taken his family, the loneliness that had filled his life. But now, with Sari beside him, those dark memories began to fade. She had given him something he never expected: hope. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the distant hills, Sari stood by the window, looking up at the stars. "Leo, she said softly. I want to walk without this. She pointed to the support device on her back and legs. Leo smiled gently. I know. We will make it happen. For days, Leo worked on a new design, a device to help Sari walk naturally, without the heavy support she used now. He studied human technology and combined it with what he learned from her. When the day came to try the new device, Sari was nervous but excited. Leo helped her strap it on. It was lighter and more flexible, designed to support her muscles and joints with gentle assistance. Slowly, she stood up. At first, her steps were shaky, her breathing was deep and her eyes focused. Leo stood beside her, ready to catch her if she fell. But she did not fall. Step by step, she moved across the room. Her smile grew wider. Walking, she whispered. Free. Leo laughed, happy tears in his eyes. You did it, Sari. She looked at him with gratitude. You saved me. No, Leo said softly. You saved yourself. I just helped. Sari took more steps, gaining confidence. The nights after that, they talked more openly. Sari told stories of her homeworld, a place filled with stars, ancient cities, and people who prized strength above all else. But strength was not just about power, she said. It was also about courage and kindness. Leo understood that now better than ever. One day, Sari brought out a small glowing device, a gift from her world. She placed it in Leo's hands. This is for you, she said. To remember, your friend. Leo smiled and held it carefully. It was a symbol of trust and new beginnings. As time passed, Sari began to teach others in the colony about her people's science and technology. The once lonely alien girl became a teacher, a leader, and a symbol of hope. Leo helped her every step of the way, proud of how far she had come. Together, they built a new life on the quiet planet, one where no one was left behind and everyone had a chance to belong. Under the endless stars, two friends from different worlds had found a new home. And in that home, they walked side by side, ready for whatever the future might bring.